So similar to you, what you said about the bowlers, first thing I always try and do with a new player is just say, look, I'm just going to throw to you and have a look. See how you move, see what you do, and then we go from there. Shot. What do you reckon about that one?
I think I would be happy if I could more to the ball a bit more.
Yep. Okay. Bit. Yeah. I think. Yep. I agree. I think you were then just a bit lazy with your right side, and you sort of just pushed at the ball rather than like using your right side to hit the ball. Nearly. Again there. You're just coming this way with your backside. Your hips are opening. And you're coming round the ball rather than sort of staying side on, hitting through the line of the ball. Yeah, so I'm big on trying to keep your hips side on. Yeah, better. Well done. Head over, more right side. Nice. Shot. Don't bowl there. Yeah. Okay, not bad. Your energy was good, but little what we call slice. Just sort of your bat went to mid-on, the ball sliced off to mid-off. Again, I think just hips and body, your hands follow your hips.
So don't play this way.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you use your right side to, straight line. You want to try and hit straight line through the ball. And look, there's more ways to bat than just one. Yeah. I always say to my players, everyone has their own ideas and philosophies. I try and work on like batting as a side-on game unless you're sweeping or pulling. But even a cut shot, everything else is sort of side-on. Yeah. If you get front-on too early, there's a saying, hands follow your hips. Yeah. So you'll slice across the ball, and it will cost you power, and you won't be able to hit it exactly where you want it to go. Because then if you think about the most efficient way to travel from point A to point B is a straight line. It's not like that. Yeah. So when we're having our bat swing, we don't want to sort of come across the ball and the ball goes over there. We want to try and work in a long straight line behind where we hit the ball. So even if you want to take it to the leg side, you'd sort of stay side on and just bring your bat through in a straight line to hit the ball to mid-on, if that makes sense.
So I was doing...
Yep. And then your bat starts to come across this way, and then you have to bring it back round, and it's not a straight line.
It's like
yeah.
This way.
Yep.
Instead
of a little bit more side on, and then straight through. Exactly. And that's one of the most common issues with batting, because naturally you're left-hand dominant, left side dominant. So naturally, I'd say open a jar, do something, you'd use your strength, you'd use your left side. Yeah. But in batting, we want to try and use the non-dominant side. If I gave you a tennis racket or a baseball bat or a golf club, you'd probably open your hips and swing with your bottom hand. Whereas to keep a straight bat in cricket, we want to be top hand dominant through the ball. Yeah, for a straight bat. When you're hitting square of the wicket, cuts and pulls and like even a square drive, you can use your bottom hand a lot more. But when you're hitting down the ground, it's generally more top side. There is always exceptions to the rule, and there'll be others that can make it work more with their bottom hand, but generally it's locking in that front side to be able to hit with a straight bat. Yeah? Does that make sense? Nearly. Just on contact, I think your wrist was a bit weak. Right wrist. Yeah, better. Nice shot. See, you got a bit front on. Yeah, came across and then the ball slices off to point. So what I would do to work on this is I'd say, let's do underarms. Let's take away the decision making of forward or back and whatever, and you know it's just going to be a drive. And then you can focus on anything. You could focus on shoulder to the ball. You could focus on where your foot's pointing. You could focus on what your hips are doing. You could focus on being long in your right side. You've got to work out. You know what you're trying to create, and that's a long swing through the ball. and you've got to work out what you need to focus on, you as an individual, because it'll be different to me, what you need to focus on. Like you said, when you're bowling, you focus on that and it gets the flight. So you might focus on that and that gets you into a position that you need to be in. Yeah, so you think about the outcome, and then I would be doing underarm and say, right, that one you opened up your hips, what were you focusing on? Let's just maybe this one focus on your hips. And if that works, then maybe you keep focusing on that. Nice. Nice, that was good. Solid. So there's something else going on, I reckon, that's holding you back from hitting that with power. And what I would generally do with a young player is I'd tell them multiple things now and then say we're only going to focus on one thing. We'll give them like an overview of what we need to work on and then say we can't focus on them all now. Let's just try and get your hips and then we'll move on to the next thing. So the other thing for you, and this is an old school way of batting, is I think you're taking too big a step and then your weight stays back and you have to push at the ball, or all you can do is sort of block the ball because your head's not over. If you take a slightly shorter step, there you go. You can get your head and weight further forward and then you can just lean on it a bit easier.
Because I realized when you were in the Melbourne, you were one of the guys you were teaching. Because he was... He was just
and then weight back.
and then
Collapse. So it's just lead, there, head forward, and then you can hit with more power. So because you're older, your brain's more developed, you can probably process things quicker than kids. But for a kid, I'd say, let's just try and get that right first. And if you start getting that right after a few weeks, then we'll start thinking about what your hips are doing and what your swing's doing. But let's get that bottom half working first.
So that's a easy point. So.
There, and then it's about staying side on and you'll get power. Yeah? Good. Good. Okay, something that's limiting you a bit is when the ball's straight, your front, not that much because that'll open your hips there. Because you're facing, your toes pointing over that way too much, a bit more, you can't transfer down the wicket enough. Your weight's going over towards cover. But I'm a believer that if you go too open, your hips open, look at right now, your hips are open. And so I think there, mid-off. And then you can still transfer your weight down the wicket, but you can also keep your hips side on. Does that make sense?
So I want
Or you can hit through mid-on, spot on, Just when you're there, you're just closing yourself off and you sort of like can't get your weight. So when it's wide, that foot's fine when it's wide. Good. Better. Over time with underarms, you'd be able to just punch that rather than block it. But it's going straight, you're staying side on, your position was good. Better. Nice. Good. Just try and hold the hips, but nice. Your size of your steps better. Last 6. Just a bit closed off. What do you feel there? Yep. And maybe fraction more side on, not sort of spinning out of it at the end. Yeah, straight line, Nearly. Sorry, bad throw. 3 more. Good. Again, the more you do it, the more you'll trust yourself to like hit that rather than just... Yes, there it is. Well done. What do you reckon? What are you feeling? What are you thinking? What do you think? What are you feeling? Well done, mate.
It's more about how you feel it.
Yeah.
I'm happy with it.
Yep. Good.
Because it's all about something. Some of them you know, but when you actually doing it is a bit more different. Like some of the, especially I was mentioned to the kids, stay top of the ball. Lot.
Yep.
But when I was actually doing it,
Yep.
it's
different, isn't it? You've got to feel it and then process it, because especially kids who have been told from a young age take a big step, then they end up keeping their weight back. It's like rewiring that process. It's rewiring that movement.
Yeah, mine in the very beginning stage,
Yep.
I was tell them to stay up.
Yep.
Make sure this is. So what I do is even underarm.
Yep.
I ask them to play and hold.
Yep.
So then
They're up
they
and
stay here. I say,
Yeah,
"No, lift it up, lift it up.
and transfer.
So most of them stay like this.
Yep.
So I just
Yep.
bring them towards.
Yep. And the other thing I do is get in your stance there for me. Is if someone's overstriding, I'll just say, okay, you're not allowed to step on this. And you put a physical object there that makes them take a shorter step. So then, yep.
There you go.
And then that tells their brain that physical object, if you don't put something there, they'll often keep doing it. You put something there and they'll automatically won't step on it.
That's a good tip.
Just even something like that, yeah, or a back cover, anything.
This is even it's like some of the kids, most of them, they do.
Yeah. And again, put something behind them.
I just put a one.
Yep. And yep, they can't move. Yeah. Exactly. Same thing. Same thing if they're overstriding. Well done, mate.
Yeah, thanks.
My pleasure.